Hey, welcome back to The Dive. Today on the show, we have Frank Holmes from HIVE Digital Technologies. Frank's joining us today to give us his take on the regulatory pushback against crypto, AI, and how it will impact our everyday lives. And he's also going to let us in on the latest news from HIVE Digital Technologies. Hey, Frank, welcome back to The Dive. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's great to be with you, Cassandra. A long time. And here you are in my home in San Antonio, Texas, where it's only 109 degrees outside.
Oh, geez. Well, you better stay indoors. It looks like it's comfy in there. So, okay, so Frank, let's dive into it here. NASDAQ announced that they will no longer proceed with crypto custody service plans, which were scheduled for launch in Q2 this year. What do you think is happening with the regulatory pushback against crypto?
Well, I think it's actually improved a lot, especially with the whole process of creating a Bitcoin ETF and the debate in Congress, concern about what they call Choke 2.0, where the Congress are the lawmakers, and beyond them is the Supreme Court. Government agencies are they're not allowed to go make their own laws. They have to be approved by Congress to be aware. So there's the pushback back and forth, and I think that's probably one of the positive sentiments for the crypto ecosystem. And the most significant is Ripple. The fact that Ripple, one, that it's not a security, that's a big blow to the SEC. And immediately we've seen Coinbase go up fourfold. People were thinking it was going to go bankrupt. And I think that it's not. They immediately put XRP back on the site. So I think the NASDAQ will turn in the next quarter. I think that once we get through some of these other new ETF ideas that are being pushed through the SEC's process, will be positive. What's embarrassing for the US government is that little islands like Bermuda, which are beautiful islands, they have regulations for the past 3 years for having a crypto exchange like Coinbase. There are. How could a little island like them, how could the EU fast track and have policies and the beacon of leadership for the world when it comes to securities regulation is the US. So there is a bit of embarrassment and a pushback. So what I think deep down, it's more political than we recognize. And they'll get through it. America's just the dynamics of this great nation.
I've been seeing things about a crypto winter in the news. Do you think that we're in a crypto winter right now?
I think that we were. I think we're clawing out of it. If you look at the charts, look at HIVE, how much it's up year to date versus Bitcoin or versus gold. That it's up 300+%. And so it's had this significant rebound from the lows of last year. One of the things we did do, Cassandra, is that all these different crypto mining companies have different depreciation and different sort of oversight by auditors and different conservativeness by auditors. I think that HIVE has the most aggressive in writing everything down. And so everything got written down by us, even though we're profitable. And we stripped all of that out against our peers. And last year we were number one in having cash flow. And so we're happy that we still get ranked number one as most efficiency as a miner. But something we started planning 3 years ago was AI. And that's the big exciting change of changing the name to better reflect Web3 and our opportunity, because we beta sited basically 2% of our chips, and now we're going to scale 10% and then all of them.
Speaking of AI, Elon Musk announced the creation of xAI, a new AI-focused company which aims to be a competitor to ChatGPT. How disruptive do you think that ChatGPT will be to our everyday lives?
Well, there's no doubt that the adoption is unprecedented, that 100 million downloads in 2 months. Nothing else has ever come close to that. And naturally, it will attract competition. Just expect it. That's what technology does do. HIVE was the first crypto mining company, and all of a sudden now there's 15 other ones. And so you can just see that that first mover will attract other players. So I think it's probably good for the competition. But what our experience with Chat GPT is that it's like Excel sheet. It's garbage in, garbage out. So they say Google's catching everything. It's just not really true. In the world of gold, and when we write about gold, we started looking at GPT chat in that process for our weekly investor alert. And we found that we were doing something better. And then we found out that we have to upload all the brokerage reports and all the stuff that's not in main Google, and what is in Google in Canada, what you see in Canada is different than the US. If we push in something like Justin Trudeau, it will give you different stories. And so you have to make sure that you're uploading the information in your sphere, in the realm that you're an expert on. And then you ask the GPT chat to do what's special. And it's amazing what it does.
We saw crypto miners leveraging AI, and one of them is Hive. How does the company plan to adapt to AI?
Well, we're very fortunate in Sweden with our previous chips from AMD that they were mining Ethereum. And we saw the need, and we started planning for the AI. And then on that journey of planning, what you also found this in crypto mining, you ordered a beautiful car, but there was no tires. Where's the tires? I can't drive the car. And they're coming. They're coming from Turkey. The car came from China, but the tires are coming from Turkey. And so you have to really think about when you go and buy these chips that you have the cables. Certain cables are more important. When you do anything that's in AI, there's 6 key factors you have to consider for what your needs are. What are you looking to use it for? Is it medical cancer research, or is it for high frequency trading? Is it for making iterative art? So there's different needs for different chips. But we, 18 months ago, bought $66 million worth of NVIDIA chips. And unlike other crypto mining companies that bought NVIDIA chips, theirs were only eligible to mine Ethereum. We said, no, we went and spent more that can mine Ethereum and at the same time do AI. And so what we noticed in that journey was having the right servers. That's where I was mentioning the metaphor of a car without tires. And the first Dell liquid servers just didn't work. And they took too long. So now the Super Micro, which is one of these great AI stocks in the US, has been on a tear. Their servers are phenomenal. So they're coming in every week. So every month we have 10 more coming in I would say calculating about a weekly basis now. Then we start to take those NVIDIA chips, plug them in. And what we found with only 400 of them, we were making $250,000 with very little consumption of energy. And now we can scale. We have 38,000 of these NVIDIA chips. So we have big blue sky potential. We are the most efficient miner. So we have a different expertise than a lot of the other miners that are considering, or some change their name to say they're going to go in the space. They really don't know about all the issues from CPUs and GPUs for film rendering and the expertise that Hive's management team has.
So is AI helping to make crypto mining cheaper, or will it just help pick different winners and losers?
I think that what we found was, prior to the past few months, that every time Bitcoin surged, all the smaller proof of work coins also surged actually more. They're like micro cap stocks to the big stocks. So in the world of gold, for your listeners to understand, that all the gold stocks follow the price of gold. So gold goes up, the big goes up 1%, the big gold stocks go up 2%, and the small gold stocks can go up 3 to 5%. Well, that's the same thing with crypto. Bitcoin goes up 5%, and then all of a sudden, all the smaller miner proof of work coins, they go up 15, 20%. Vice versa, they fall the same amount, they fall more, so they're more volatile. Our chips allow us to mine those and immediately convert to Bitcoin, and it's more profitable. So the idea of using artificial intelligence and using these chips all we need to have is volatility in the Bitcoin ecosystem and all these smaller miners. Now that Ripple's back in vogue and it's on Coinbase's platform, these other smaller cap miners that were being pushed out, they're now sort of mining coins, tokens. They're coming back to vogue. So we actually make a lot of money mining those, but we convert them to Bitcoin right away. And it goes looking for who has the highest returns on invested capital for that day. But we think the big vision is there's no doubt as a channel of revenue for us is AI is going to be like Ethereum mining was. I mean, when we were mining Ethereum, we had 90% gross margins. Bitcoin had 40 to 50% on the best of times. It never had 90%. AI has 90% gross margins. So we're very excited about this channel of growth. And we took our profits previously from Ethereum's high margins and built an exahash of Bitcoin mining. Now we'll turn around and do this again from the AI.
Now, HIVE has clean data centers, including here in Canada. You also say that energy recycling from Bitcoin mining is possible. For example, by helping grow things like cucumbers and tomatoes for local communities. Could you give us some color on this?
Well, it's been, we're the first to really be green. We're the first to balance the grid. Last year, during the worst month, December, in Sweden, we were able to help out the community and give back the energy, and we end up making $3 million. So we understand that importance of balancing the grid. Riot's done it very successfully in Texas. And I think that it leads to other innovations. And one of those is the recycling of that same molecule of heat. And in Lachute, just outside of Montreal, we recycle from a building 40,000 square feet to 200,000 square feet. We heat from that same molecule. The heat thrown off from the ASIC miners basically heats a building, making whirlpools for 175 workers. Now in the summer that's not necessary, but in the winter it's a huge saving of electricity and consumption of energy. In Sweden, we're scoping out the building of the 95,000 square foot greenhouse. We know this is being done in Netherlands using robotics, but where we'll be able to supply all the local northern part of Sweden with the cucumbers and tomatoes. And that's very exciting because there's no carbon footprint coming from Spain or from Italy. And now we're exploring where we can take the heat and dry wood chips that we can then turn around and recycle the heat to dry rice. And in Boden, it's to have a small facility that would heat the hockey arena. So it's taking engineers and then the concept of recycling the heat.
Wow, very cool. So would this end up being part of the carbon credits? Would you be able to get carbon credits for it eventually?
Yeah, I believe that we should be because we only use green energy and then we recycle that energy to help other businesses. And it lowers our cost of energy in Sweden. It will dramatically lower it once we get the greenhouse going. So everybody wins, the community wins. We've been very focused on the boating community of giving back. We have the HIVE hockey arena. Hockey is bigger in Boden than I would say that it's in Sudbury or Sault Ste. Marie, the OHL. It is so big in those communities. So we're funding the development of 12 kids teams. And that's part of building for the community. And so we are very excited about these opportunities and now being able to help feed the community.
Yeah, no kidding. That's amazing, Frank. Okay, so before I let you go here, you mentioned the name change from HIVE Blockchain Technologies to HIVE Digital Technologies. What led you to the name change? Why is the term digital a better fit for the company?
Well, there's several reasons why, but the biggest is that HIVE is part of the great digital transformation. Every year I go to Harvard for a week with a group of 150 other CEOs from 80 countries, and we get to play kids again. We do 60 hours of prep reading work of case studies, and then we live in a dorm from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night and taking lectures and having collective groups. And this year, it was all about the great digital transformation. And I'm so excited because we're first to buy our own data centers and build them. And I believe these independent, decentralized data centers are key to the digital transformation. And we found out those companies that have went through pre-COVID did exceptionally well during COVID, so that there's a fast tracking for it. And we believe that AI is another key component that'll become part of our daily life. And I think from that end, there's a need for these data centers and our chips. So we feel very excited about that long term. Just being blockchain, you automatically get a stigma that it's bad in after what took place in the US and then other countries. And there's been a sort of a phenomena move where government agencies act like they're above elected officials, elected politicians who are the lawmakers. This has happened in the UK, it's happened in Sweden, and there's been a sort of pushback. It's happened in Canada, where agencies believe that they're above and beyond, and that's very close to socialism. So it's a very great concern, and I think that the pendulum is now trying to swing back to the middle of this concept of rule of law, and that is very good for what the crypto has been going through. But we found almost like racism if you had the word blockchain, and we could scratch our heads and say, well, why we're own data centers and we do all this incredible innovation. So digital is a better macro word to reflect our many sources of revenue. It's focused on Web3 and it's focused on AI, and Web3 also includes Bitcoin mining.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on today, Frank. That's all we have for you. It's always a pleasure to catch up. We'll see you next time.
Well, thank you very much. And I want to reflect that, your followers, thanks for being HIVE shareholders, because it's been a wonderful proxy. It's been extremely volatile. I remind them all in all my presentations, it's much more volatile than Bitcoin, but stay tuned. Thank you for being shareholders.
To our viewers at home, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoy videos like this, consider hitting that subscribe button below me there so you don't miss out on the next one. Bye.